78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winsome, and we're back. Oh man, it's been a few weeks. If you guys haven't seen me on the air before in the last couple of weeks, it's because some of the craziest things happened in my life. I'll tell you some people see it as negative, but I see it as a dual-fold thing or a two-fold situation where what happened to me was awful, right? I learned over the matter of a few days that my body was doing things I didn't want it to. So I'm gonna break it down to you, right? So I woke up one morning and I had a really dull pain in the left side of my head. And at first I didn't think anything of it. It's like, okay, this is just a pain, right? And so as the day progresses, the pain doesn't go away. And as a matter of fact, the pain goes from just being a dull pain to where it was kind of sensitive to the touch. And so I go to the doc, to the emergency room because it was really weird, something I'm not used to. We chalked it up to basically like a stress thing. I described it online, what they actually told me it was. But basically it's something from a trigger point in my neck that was causing me to kind of have the pain up from my neck to my head. So I think nothing of it. I have a traveler somewhere I had to go the next week, so I'm traveling back to the U.S. And while I'm in the U.S., away from close hospitals, away from access to emergency rooms in this situation, I realized that as I'm traveling to get there, my ear has swollen up. My eye there's a real dull pain behind my left eye. And now that pain that was in the back of my neck is literally all portraying throughout my entire left side of my face. It was just very painful. So I go to sleep that same night, thinking maybe I just have some sort of ear infection that's causing all the pain. I'm going to go back to the doc immediately, right? But when I woke up the next day, I had absolutely no control over the left side of my face. And that means my smile, I couldn't blink, I couldn't chew, eat, drink from a straw, anything from this side of the face. All the little things you take for granted, like eating or sipping from a straw or talking or smiling or blinking. It was just horrible. My ear was even more swollen than it was before, and at this point in time, painful to the touch, right? And it was a horrible experience. I go to the doc immediately, right after that, go to the ER as soon as I have the opportunity. And they break it down, do some tests, and come to find out it's something that stems from a dormant virus that had been in my system since I had chickenpox as a kid. All the symptoms, I tell you, from the ear pain to the pain in this one side of my face to losing access to my face muscles and nerves, all of it broke down to the same syndrome. And it was crazy to experience that. And I'm so grateful that I can say this morning, speaking on the air today, that I have about 85% of my face back. Getting my smile back. Finally got it back. I couldn't smile. That whole week that I was telling you I was traveling, I'm also teaching. And when I got back, right after my ER appointment with the medication they gave me, I'm teaching. So I'm teaching the people without having access to my smile. And if you guys know me, you know that's part of the event, the energy. So having to navigate that, not being able to have a part of me, that my smile is part of me. And it was probably one of the most uncomfortable, surreal, and scary experiences I've had in a very long time, especially when you can't control your own body. Man, I will tell you, when you can't control your own body, that changes everything. Because it's like, oh my gosh. So anybody who's struggling with things like that, there's something significant, something that you've carried with you, something you haven't been able to get away from. Some of my friends text me, we're talking about Bell's palsy and how stress has kicked that off in their lives. And the crazy thing is the syndrome that I had is actually more dangerous than Bell's palsy because those symptoms, if you don't catch it in time, won't go away. There's no fixing it. You're stuck like that. And so, it was one of those things, wow. You start reading up on different syndromes. You start realizing like singers like, what's my man's name? Justin Bieber and people of that nature suffer from similar symptoms and syndromes, and other actors who suffer from Bell's palsy and people who live with this and live like that. And for me, that's scary. It's sad, and it hurt my heart, so I'm so grateful to have functionality back, to be able to smile again. Again, my face, my lips, my eye, in my speech by 85 to 90% back. So as I'm going through this show with you, I am literally fighting back. My body is trying to get back to 100%. So I'm hoping over the next couple of days, a week or so, that I'm back as close as I can get. 78.6 FM, positive vibes of Winston. What did I learn, man? I'm always practicing gratitude, and I'm always speaking on gratitude, but I will tell you I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I was able to access a hospital, that I was able to get the right medication, that I am able to have functionality back, that I can sip from a straw again, I can eat again normally. It was sad. I mean, stuff dribbling out your mouth when you're trying to eat. You got to cut things up into small pieces to fit it on the other side. It was so uncomfortably crazy and upsetting, right, to experience. And I remember trying to teach to this cohort, and I'm taking these guys through some stuff I'm really excited about. People were making me laugh, and I couldn't laugh. It was, like, painful. I couldn't be a piece of me. So I'm so grateful because I know it could have been worse. I'm so grateful that it wasn't. I'm so grateful to be blessed and that God sees fit to allow me to recover, that my story isn't that. Grateful that I have an understanding of what was going on. A lot of people go through things and they just kind of brush it off and they don't get an understanding or an idea until it's really bad and they have to go through the struggle. So I'm really grateful for not just it happening and kind of opening my eyes up to realize, hey, bro, slow down. I say this to people. One of my friends, Kristen, I appreciate you and I love you for this. Just a reminder, I know you can move, but can you be still? And situations like that kind of force you to be still. You can't be everything you were the day before, right? You have to take a step back and look at things a little differently. And I'll tell you, I definitely look at my day-to-day differently after that experience because I'm like, yo, that just happened. There's absolutely nothing I could have did about that. There's absolutely nothing I can do to fix it other than take medication. So focus on the things I can control. The medication to help, whatever that, to ease that virus down that was trying to take over that side of my face. The symptoms started, going down significantly, but it took a couple of days. Shout out to my team, the gratitude I have for them. My team was so loving and when you're feeling horrible about yourself and you feel disconnected from your own body and you have people saying kind things like it's not as bad as you think it is, we can't tell as much as you might be able to tell because I'm controlling it. I feel it. I know what I don't feel, but they say, we can't really tell as much as, you probably can. So I tried and I appreciate their love and their encouragement. The people from my Facebook fam who hit me up and were saying all the loving things last night, I'm trying to respond to everybody. Really meant a lot to me. I went to bed reading your messages and I woke up this morning reading them and it warmed my whole heart. Thank you for the love. Thank you for continuing to encourage me. Thank you for continuing to love me as I love you. And I really appreciate what you guys are saying on there. And I took to heart everything that everyone said, especially every new day matters, making time count and making sure that you're grateful for every day you wake up with full functionality, your body and your health. It's crazy I know there's people who experience worse. I get it. There's people who experience some things that you can't come back from. And so this is just a reminder of how hopeless some people feel when they're going through these things and how considerate we have to be when these people are experiencing these things because we're in our own movies. I watch people, full smiles, full energy, full face, full movement. And I'm like, I wish I could do that, right? So it's really, it's kind of like the Helen Keller 3 Days to See story. It's kind of like, wow, I really need to be more grateful and intentional, even with my smile, even with my body. I'm going to the gym every day while I can. I'm moving everything I can. I'm going to try to make every body part as strong as I can. I'm going to try to run, all the little things that I've been taking for granted. I've been doing it, but maybe not to the point where I know if you couldn't do this tomorrow, what would you want to accomplish today? And that's really what I learned from that experience. It's crazy. I started taking for granted when I was younger, my eyesight. When your parents would say things like, don't sit too close to the TV and you don't know what you're talking about, old man. Don't put your headphones up so loud, you're going to mess up your hearing. You know what you're talking about. Then as you get older, you start noticing your eyesight is changing, right? And then you start noticing that you can't hear as strong as you used to. Those little things matter, and of course, when you don't take care of yourself the right way, you start losing those blessings, those gifts, and those things that were given to you to take care of. So I know I always talk about it. I know I live it, and I know I practice a lot of self-care, and I practice a lot of what is it called? Resetting, relaxing. But I know I need to do better at paying attention to my body. I need to do better at probably being stubborn, because I'll tell you, I probably could have let that headache go on another day before addressing it, just because you think I'm good. I'm not worried about it. Hey, I'm healthy. I think I'm a healthy person, but I literally can't control something that's been sitting dormant in my body since childhood. That's crazy. The chicken pox? I remember that experience. That's one of the most horrible experiences of my life, too. Remember the chicken pox and all the scratching if you had it? And the stuff that makes in the cream you got to put on, but it doesn't help. And then you can't scratch because you'll scar yourself. That was like one of the most horrendous experiences. The little bumps everywhere and they're itchy. Oh, man, chicken pox was crazy. And to find out that them things left a gift in my body for to hit me and come back and say, hey, when I'm 40. Oh, man, 40 plus. Don't judge me. I'll tell you that I'm so grateful to be back on the air. One of the biggest fears for me was, man, I'm not going to be able to be 100% doing the things that I love. And this being here with you every Saturday and sharing stories with you and experiences with you is one of the things that I love to do. So I'm so grateful to get me back. And I'm so grateful to be back in the studio. Felt bad taking time off to reset and heal, but I know that was the best thing for me. And I didn't want to come in here with half a face, speaking out the side of my face. And as I told my friend Shantae, speaking out of half the side of my face, right? It's game time. Today I'm leaving here and going on a little adventure to kind of reset and focus, rest. Not plan on doing nothing too crazy. I just really wanted to enjoy this weekend and be grateful for what I do have. A lot of great relationships have been established. A lot of cool things happened. I want to thank all the invitations for me to come out and speak over the next couple of months. That really means a lot to me. I want to thank all the people who've been checking on me. You'll go days. Sometimes as an adult, you'll go days without really hearing from the people you may want to. But you will hear from people that care. And you will hear from people that think about you. Even if it's a text, phone call, somebody liking something on your post. I mean, you'll hear from somebody commenting. You'll hear from somebody who cares. So I'm very grateful for all the people, again, who commented on my post, all the loving words, encouragement, and all the people who are rooting this 85% back to 100, right? I'm with you. I'm rooting for myself, too. Hey, I need that. And I'm praying that what God sees for me is for me to be 100% back healed. And if that's what his storyline is for me, then that's what I'll be in the next couple of days or weeks, whatever it takes. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to do everything I can to take care of myself and the people I love. With that being said, 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. That's been what I've been going through over the past couple of weeks. Man, this is my first weekend, I think, with this much functionality back. So I'm grateful to have it. I'm grateful to be able to talk to you again. I'm grateful for not being concerned about how I looked on camera, talking to people and sharing that story. It was crazy. I will tell you that. It was really crazy. But would I do it all over again? Not if I had a choice. That was nothing I want to experience again. That was lousy, especially when I had the opportunity to eat some really good food and I couldn't eat it the way I wanted to, right? Because that was horrible. Shout out to everybody who cares enough to care. And shout out to people who continue to pray for me and who keep me in mind, thoughts and prayer. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. We just catching up today, man. I don't have any crazy topics or subjects I'm going to jump on. Probably tell you about some things I got going on. And we'll be right back after this break. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston, and we're back. This is my first weekend back on the air after a few weeks being out. Really crazy medical scare if you heard first segment. But I'm back, grateful, full of gratitude, full of energy, and ready to move on, man. You know, I'm hoping that was just a lapse in my life that I'll never deal with again. Who knows? You know, the world has crazy stories planned out for us, man. And that was a crazy storyline and a crazy experience all in one. So I talked about what I learned. I learned about gratitude. I told you about why I understand. Focus on the things that are within your control and do the best of them to your ability or the best of your ability, right? And those are the things that I'm focusing on now, moving forward, and really as much as I can explore, enjoy all my senses, really take it all in, because you never know. You really never know. Been watching a lot of crazy stuff in the world going on right now, and of course I don't speak on politics, religion, and things of that nature. I really keep it to positivity, but I will tell you that I understand that I'm not tone deaf. I know that the world is going through some things. There's a lot of stories in the world right now, a lot of storylines, a lot of things happening. So anyone who's been affected by any of these things in any way, shape, form, or fashion, man, I'm praying for you, keeping you in thoughts and prayer, you and your family. So just know that when I speak on other topics, I'm not trying to ignore what's happening in the world. The show has a theme and a purpose, and it, of course, just like everything we do, is to educate, encourage, and inspire. Encourage through storytelling and through life lessons, right? And that's why I don't want to stick to the things that a lot of people see already on the news every single day when they wake up. No need to add on to that. But I will talk about today is, are you living the life that you drew up for yourself? When you think about that story, when you think about when you were 13, 14, 15, maybe even 16, and you were thinking about what you want to be when you grow up, are you living a life right now that you drew up for yourself? And I ask the question, if you're not, why aren't you? What is it that's changed? What isn't that knocked off your motivation? What isn't that threw you off course? And I know you may not have the same vision, dreams, goals that you had when you were 14, 15, or 16, but is the energy still there, no matter how old you are, to live the life that you choose? I think a lot of people, we can look left and right and say why we can't do the things that we want. But my question is, are you fighting for the things that you want for yourself? A lot of times we get stuck in our story and don't look. I know a lot of friends right now who are at that midway point, 40s and about to be in their 40s, midway point in their career. And a lot of people are in that window where they're like, this is not really what I want to do with my life. And they're either too scared to take a leap in a different direction, financially not able to. I'm always a firm believer of those leaps of faith. You guys know my story and the leap of faith I took back in 2016 just to come overseas and stay overseas. And that was scary for everybody watching my story. But for me, it was exciting. It was an adventure. I had nothing to lose. I had a whole lot to grow and to learn, to grow, to see. But in my mind, I had nothing to lose. Just a lot of opportunity. You sacrifice some things sometimes to live the life you choose and to live the story you want. Sometimes it could be friends, sometimes it could be family members, sometimes it could be other goals that you had or the life that you were living because you've chosen to live a new life. You took that leap of faith. Are you living the life that you drew up? Are you the architect of your story? Or is someone or something else writing your story for you and telling you what your next page is going to look like? A lot of my friends ask me why I didn't try to make Chief. I love that question because they know I didn't. They know I didn't. They knew that wasn't something that was in my heart. And I tell them, I said, where I messed up, if my vision or goal was ever to be a Chief Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force, it was taking a break from the Air Force. And when I did that skill bridge, that internship experience, got away from active duty uniform for a while, I realized that a lot of the things I valued were being overshadowed by mission or things that I didn't value as much. I always treasure what I have, and I always give my heart to everything I do, and I always believe in whatever I'm tasked. That's not the question. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I realize that things I value as a person, as a human being, things I've always valued, things that walked me into the door through the recruiter's office, I have forgotten a lot of them. You get so wrapped up in the game of competing and the game of fighting, right? Aim high, fly, fight, win. You get so caught up in that game that sometimes you lose yourself in it. And I started mapping all of the different times that I had done that. And then I started mapping all the things that I still wanted to do. And that to me was a game changer. It wasn't about rank. It wasn't about positioning. It wasn't about authority or power. It was about making sure that I found value in what I did, purpose, a sense of purpose in what I did. And when I came back, I realized that being a development advisor, which is the job I have now, and being able to educate, encourage, and inspire, to teach, to coach, to mentor, to guide people in the right direction, those are things that I treasure, that I value. I love the way I feel and the way it feels to do those things. And I realized this is what I want to do until I'm done with this game. And then they're like, yeah, but you can sit in this seat and do this job for a few weeks, or you can go and do this, and you can put this event together and all this stuff that, you got to check the block to be considered for the next rank. I'm like, if I got to do all that just to put on another stripe, I don't want it. I'd rather do what I love. And right out the end of this movie, this specific movie, smiling, doing what I love, than doing something that other people want for me. That realization hits hard, man. It's one of those things like, wow, this just happened. Like, I can really choose my own adventure. And when you start choosing your own adventure, the game changes. That is why I wasn't shooting to be Chief Master Sergeant. Because I chose my own adventure. And my adventure was, A, to get out and do the civilian thing for a little while. I loved it, loved the experience, learned a lot about people. I forgot. I learned so much about people when I left, man. I'll tell you, there was one place I was working for a few months as a civilian, as an intern, and I was like, what? I forgot what it's like on the civilian side of the house, man. It's crazy out there. And it wasn't with local nationals or any of our family here in Okinawa. It was with a United States, U.S. civilian team, and I remember just being on that team, and I was like, I don't know if I want this. Not right now, not this team. And so I was so blessed to have the other opportunities that I had, like working with the family over at the American Forces Network, being on the morning show, working with Michael Eckelbecker. Those things, those experiences I'll never forget. And that's actually, already doing this and being able to go over there and do what I love on that side of the house just meant everything. It was just an amazing feeling, amazing opportunity. And so now I sit back and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I chose my own adventure. And when people ask me, that's my answer. Why didn't you? Because I value myself more. I value my vision for myself more. I value my time more. 100% value my time more. And once that became a realization, I had to start making decisions that align with my values. So when I ask you, are you choosing and living the dream that you chose for yourself? Or are you living someone else's vision for you? I ask that question wholeheartedly because I know what it feels like to navigate every day for someone else. And I also know how amazing it feels to navigate for yourself. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes you're going to fall. You're going to fail. But every time you fall, get back up. And every time you fail, learn the lesson from the failure. And it's not failure until you quit. So all of these things happening in my life, and I realized, you know what? I am stronger than I was yesterday. I learned a lot from those experiences. I know what I want for myself. I want to choose my own adventure, and I want to take advantage of every opportunity I have of freedom, independence, and aligning my next steps with those things that I truly value. So I'll end this by asking you again, Are you choosing your own adventure? That's all. It's not a trick question. It's just something to think about. Do you feel stuck? It's a fear of failure if you were to step away and do something else. Because it's not like automatic. It's not like I can go from being a DA and say, I'm going to be a lawyer, and tomorrow I'm a lawyer. I'm going to have to do the work to become one. I'm going to have to take the classes, go to school. It's going to take time. And sometimes you do what you have to do, day job, until you get what you want to do. And it may not be overnight. I'm seeing people graduate high school at 60. I'm seeing people become doctors later in life. I know it's a possibility. I don't know how they do that, because imagine how long they got to live to pay all those, or work to pay all those medical bills, or medical school bills. But anyway, I say all that truly and honestly from the heart. I hope that most of you who are listening and anyone who tunes in is choosing their own adventure. That's one of those things that we take for granted. It's freedom of choice. Choice of the decisions we make, the direction, the careers we choose, the life we live. It's up to you. What do you choose? 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I'm just asking questions today, man. I'm sharing little stories here, a little dash of it, and then I'm just asking questions, because a lot of these things I don't think people ask of themselves. And then they just aimlessly jumping into their next steps or their decision making without aligning it with what they value and what they want for themselves, the story they always had or wanted to tell for themselves. And those people, sadly, sometimes feel like they may be living an unfulfilled life. Are you living the movie or living in the movie that you chose for yourself? You're the director. You hold the pen. 78.6 FM. We'll be right back. I started reading some other books over the past couple of weeks, of course. When you can't do, you learn, right? So there's a lot of things that I want to focus on, some of my lessons and programs and future programs on, and some of the directions that we're taking the current catalog. And I'm really excited to share a lot of this stuff, man. Talking about focus and how focus is significant in everything that you do. Focusing on people, focusing on what's in front of you, focusing on your goals, your dreams, your visions, like I mentioned, that you may have for yourself. Talking about focusing on people, conversation, what's going on with them, so you can understand both sides of the story, have the whole picture, not just your perspective, but you're kind of looking through a different lens when you're focusing on things differently, right? And people call it awareness. You can call it whatever you want, but this is solely built on the focus that we have to have. It kind of talks about how a lot of people have been trained in a lot of different career fields to multitask, do multiple things at once, but understand something. If there's something that's important to you, you have to put that multitask on pause. You got to stop doing that in order to be able to do those other things that you really enjoy doing. So the current lessons that we're building are just amazing. Then you talk about, that's the focus. Then the mindful leader, being present in what you do. And again, these are all leadership courses. This isn't anything magical or mysterious. These are leadership courses that stem from emotional intelligence and leadership studies and happiness studies, as we just started diving into again which really makes me happy. So shout out to Dr. Tal Ben Shahar and the Happiness Studies Academy. I didn't forget about you. We're coming back. Had to come back around. Power Positivity. I didn't forget about you. We're coming back around. It's been significant movement in the efforts of professional development in many different areas and aspects of my life. So I'm really excited to share everything that I learned with the people who I coach, train, teach, educate, encourage, all of these things, right? So putting it all together, really, everybody's like, what are you going to do next? Same thing I'm doing now. Love on people, coach people, educate people, all the things that make us us, and do these things that help us build something special in this within these communities, and make sure that people are better than they were yesterday. There's so many times that I will coach someone, and those conversations just it takes you somewhere you never expected it to go, especially when someone's able to connect with something that they never connected with before. That could be a thought, an experience, an outlook, a perspective that they just never considered. And when you're talking to them, you're like, you can see the light go off, right? I'm like, yeah, that just happened. And I can't just say that just happened. I got to kind of just sit in it for them for a minute. What are you thinking right now? And when you let people kind of just sit in it and connect their own thoughts without you interjecting and connecting the pieces for them, it's special because it's kind of like watching. You ever see one of those water painters that you can't see nothing but clear paper? I think I saw it in one of this crazy movie, but when a water hits it, like the colors start happening and it comes together to be something beautiful. That's how these thoughts work when people are connecting the dots in their minds, and those new neural pathways are forming right in front of your eyes, and you're like, okay, this person's getting it. Because as a coach, I can't tell them what to do. I can ask the questions to get them to think of things differently, to see themselves and the world around them differently. So it's really exciting to be able to do that. And then a lot of times I'll walk out of some of these sessions and I'm asking myself questions. Now, a lot of people like to walk in these sessions and think like someone like myself, a counselor, coach, educator, has all the answers. No, I have the answers of the things that I've experienced and learned about. But there's still people that walk in with stories. I'm like, whoa, what am I missing right now? What just happened? Say that again? And, I'm not rude or so obvious like that, but there's times that things will blow my mind. Like, I didn't think that was possible. Or you look at a person like, you? Without judgment, just surprise. What? Some of these experiences have me walking away questioning the way I think, based on other people's observations of their story. And that is another gift, to be able to be present, talking about being mindful, being present. The mindful leader, something I'm teaching now. And the presence is a choice. It's also a gift. And I choose to be present every time someone comes in and tells their story or explains what they're going through. And it's like, that's wild. I would have never thought, or I never knew that these storylines existed in the world around me. And I'm learning every day, man. It's really a cool experience. I wish that I can do all of this all over again, knowing what I know now. I would change so many lives, and I would make so many people so much more happier. I'd be able to encourage them differently. I would be able to lead them differently. I would be able to love them differently. In different stories of my life, I wish I could do all of this all over again. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. Today was just catching up. Really had no specific topic. I'm jumping on different things, just talking to you. It's been a great, beautiful day. I'm looking outside right now in Okinawa, and it's perfect weather again. This is when the bugs start coming back. I told y'all they come back and say, hey, what's up, Winsome? Hey, man, I missed you, bro. I'm like, oh, I didn't miss you, bugs. That's not what I didn't miss you. But you know what? If that's the only real price you got to pay of living in somewhere this amazing is the bugs like to harass you every once in a while, I'll take it, right? This island, this place, this village, Yomatan, I went out yesterday to Watabi's down in Yomatan village. I haven't gone to the lighthouse yet, and I won't be able to head over there today because I got to get to the airport this morning, of course. But I will say that this is one of the most amazing places I've ever seen in my life. The people are so kind, so loving. The community is so strong. You know, you drive one day, you see kids walking home from school without a care in the world, crossing the street by raising their hand, and the baseball team practicing. You see kids out here playing with their parents, doing activities, even right outside the station right now. You see kids doing little stations and working out with their mom or auntie, whatever it is, or grandma it might be. It's just so amazing and so peaceful, calm, and it's someplace I hope I never have to leave. But I know that nothing's promised. I told you guys at the beginning of this segment that I realized that tomorrow's not promised to nobody, and I can only control what's within my control. And what's within my control right now is trying to be the best version of myself, trying to continue to take care of those around me, trying to take care of myself as I'm doing after I leave the show today, making sure I'm doing some things for me as well. Trying to stay focused on what's important, family, health, finances, life, exploring experiences, valuing time, not just my own, but other people's. All those things that matter to me, trying to make sure that all those things are taken care of. And that's what I want to focus in on, you know, moving forward. And the very first one, trying to take care of myself, man. I know it's, I do what I know. Right, I do what I know, and I'm still learning things about myself. Even at 47, still learning things about myself and my capacity. Is that the right word to use? My capacity to do things, what that looks like. And so I know for a fact that it's a unique experience, this thing called life. And I know for a fact that every day I wake up is a blessing. I know for a fact that I can only speak to my movie and the experience I have from my lens. And I know that everyone around me is living their own movie. Some people are the heroes in their movie, and some people are the villains in their own movie. Sadly, some people are the side character or the NPC in their movie. I choose not to be the NPC or side character in my movie or the backup dancer on stage at the Beyonce concert. Yeah, my movie's important because I know my movie impacts others. So I got to do the best I can with the time that I have. 78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. We talked about some of the things that we're building. I got coming up, let's see, in the last 5 minutes I got here. A couple of trips coming up. The kiddos want to come out here for the summer. I'm going back to the States on some wonderful opportunities to teach. And I'm really looking forward to that. I got to see the roster today of the classes they want me to teach. It's a full list. So they ain't coming to play. They're like, hey, if we're bringing you out here for 3 days, you about to bring it. We spending money on you, about to bring it. So I'm excited to see what that looks like in a few months. That's going to be pretty awesome. I also know that there was another opportunity I had to say no to, or, you know, kind of just continue the conversation. Kind of sadly, because I really wanted to do it prior to retirement. But I don't think it's going to happen because there's so much going on right here at home. Yeah, I can honestly say that I'm excited about whatever's next. I'm excited about the people in my life right now, the possibilities in my world right now. Not everybody's happy, but everybody's fighting. I'm seeing that. Now, it's a reality that I've come to terms with. I know that not everybody around me is happy, but everybody's fighting. And I'm blessed that they still have fight in them. I'm blessed and grateful that they are fighting for their tomorrow. I'm grateful that they see they're not hopeless. They have hope and gratitude and optimism, which are the 3 keys of making sure you're ready for whatever happens next. Hope, gratitude, and optimism. If you've never heard me say that before, I'm going to tell you right now. Because people who lose hope, people who stop being grateful, and people who are no longer optimistic on life. You lose those 3. This is how we lose people. So to see that we have, and especially the folks who I surround myself with or who I'm involved in their storylines, that those things exist, hope, optimism, and gratitude. I'm so grateful to see them fighting and holding on to those things. And if you're listening to me right now, hold on to those things in your life. You have to find and make sure that you have something that brings you hope. If you haven't done that, make sure that you're looking for that, because, hey, guess what? No matter where you are right now, does not mean that that is where you have to stay. Where you are does not mean that's where you have to stay. Have hope to know that you can fight through it, that you can get through it, and you can be whatever and whoever you want to be. You just have to fight for that version of you. And it's hard because if you're not optimistic on how life is or things that are going on around you, then optimism leaves. And when you're not optimistic on the outlook or outtake of life or your story, you just kind of weaken your story because there's no reason, there's no energy, and that drive is gone. So to maintain optimism, to be optimistic, to have that energy along with hope, those two things are magic if you're trying to grow, fly, and win. Gratitude, of course, you want to be grateful for everything you have. Even the things, especially the things that we take for granted, your voice, your sight, your hearing, your hands, your face, your smile, your breath. And you think, of course, that's what comes. It's part of the kit. No, not everybody has those things. And you know, when you lose some of those things, you start to realize, whoa, I took that for granted for a long time. My smile? You think something is about, oh yeah, you just lost a little control of your mind. No, let me tell you, when you cannot control what was given to you as like your accessory, yours, your smile, your sight, your hearing, your touch, your smell, taste. Come on, man. I'm just going to tell you, man, do not take what you have, where you are, and what you've survived for granted. Be grateful for all of it. And if you can do that, if you can be grateful for everything you have, you can be hopeful for the future no matter what it looks like. You can be optimistic about your story, and you can keep that positive mindset. Let me tell you, you are winning, and you are not falling in line with the people who are struggling because they failed to be able to see those three things: hope, optimism, and gratitude are three things that you need in your life. And if you struggle with it, you can't find it, or you don't know what that looks or feels like, text me. Hit me up. You know how to find me on Facebook. I'm not a stranger, and my stuff is public. Winsome L. Cully. If you struggle with finding hope, if you struggle with being optimistic, if you struggle with having gratitude, text me. 78.6 FM. Positive vibes of Winsome. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, especially now that I got my smile back. I'll see you next week. Take care.